What's going on, everybody? Hope all of you are doing well. So, I'm going to be reviewing Repossessed, which was released in 1990 and is a comedy spoof parody on The Exorcist, basically a unofficial and kind of making fun of itself in a way sequel. And you got Linda Blair, and of course you got Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen is no stranger to spoof films, you know, Airplane. He's well known for the Naked Gun trilogy, and he's been in other things as well. He did the live action adaptation of Mr. Magoo, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he left a really great career. Well known for a lot of comedies and spoof films, but he did a lot of other films way back in the day, not just the spoof films, but even though that's what he's kind of well known for. And in this, he plays Father May I, which is pretty hilarious, and it's kind of an inside joke in this film. And he had performed an exorcism on Linda Blair's character, and it's kind of the in a way they're kind of spoofing, of course, The Exorcist more towards the end. And so many years later, she's married, she has two kids, and kind of living her life, and she ends up getting repossessed, basically. And she starts to, at first she starts to show, like, these symptoms that kind of, a lot of ridiculous things happen, and she doesn't know what's coming over her. And eventually, the demon or the devil, whoever you want to call him, kind of takes over, and just a whole wide of shenanigans end up happening. It's a spoof film, so a lot of over the top and just really like shaking your head moments, situations happen. Now, while all this is happening, you have Ned Beatty's character, and he's kind of this, in a way, he's this host of like this religious network, kind of spoofing that. I can't remember the channel, but it's like a religion type channel. Has the host and his wife. You guys might know what I'm talking about, but that's what they're spoofing. And Ned Beatty is fantastic. I like a lot of what he's done. Unfortunately, he's another actor who's no longer with us, and he's kind of coming with this scheme to kind of expose Linda Blair's character, because he believes that she's not, she's just faking it. She's not really possessed. And this gives, the devil basically an opportunity to be in front of everybody, so he can kind of take over the world in a way. But at the same time, you also have this young priest who's trying to get Father May I, back into, you know, basically performing exorcisms, especially with this case, because he, basically saved her before, and he wants no part of it. So yeah, it's a fun movie. It goes by pretty quick. You can really get invested in this movie to the point that by the time you know it, it's over, and that's how I felt when I watched this. The music's great. There's a lot of great songs on here. It definitely fits the mood. It's 1990s, but still has like that 80s feel to it, which probably makes sense. It was probably filmed in 89 or 88 and then released in 1990. That's usually how films work. They usually get filmed a year or two prior, to their theatrical release. Linda Blair was great, to see her, kind of play this character in a spoof, type of way. I thought was fantastic. She looks amazing. She aged very well, I will say that, but in this, she looks fantastic. Um, and now I know where my dislike for split pea soup and peas in general come in this. There's kind of this inside joke with the split pea soup and stuff like that. Because as you guys know, if you've seen The Exorcist, the whole vomit scene, they kind of play that out in this. And yes, everything's over the top, but I think it gets blended in really, really well. It's not like a lot of spoof films where it just becomes too much. I think everything kind of blends from beginning to end with all these, little spoofs and gags and inside jokes, and I think it works really, really well. And then there's a few other familiar faces as well, and all in all, just a really fun movie. But I will say, feel like Kino could have done a little bit better on the transfer for this, because even though the transfer looks good, it's not as you would expect a lot of Blu-rays to look. Now, I don't know if that's because I had it in my 4K player and it upscales a lot of my movies. There is that possibility, but this movie, the transfer didn't really stand out as would expect. I know it's an older movie, but a lot of older movies, when they get put on 4K, look outstanding, and there's a lot of titles out there that look 10 times better than this transfer. I feel like they could have done a little bit better to clean it up. Yes, it has its grain. No, the grain's not over the top. But I feel like they could have really cleaned this up a lot better. You really can't notice a lot of details. I mean, you can to some extent, but all in all, I just feel like there could have been, a little more time in doing this to give us a better transfer. Not only that, there's only one special feature on here, and it's a commentary track. That's it. We don't get anything else. There's no interviews with Linda Blair. There's no interviews with any cast, crew or, director, whoever's still around. There's none of that. It's just a commentary, and that's a little unfortunate. And the commentary is done by the writer and director, Bob Logan. And yeah, of course you get theatrical trailer, but yeah, a little disappointing with the transfer, and the lack of special features. But all in all, I think it's great to have on Blu-ray. It's great to see this film finally get some love. Not last year, but the year before. Well, maybe it was last year. Either that or the year before, I had picked up Dracula Dead and Loving It, which is another one that Leslie Nielsen's in, that I absolutely love. So to finally have that and this, which were like the two must-haves, like the holy grails for me when it comes to Leslie Nielsen spoof films, it was a must for me. So I'm very happy. But thank you guys so much for tuning into my review for Repossessed. I wish I could say more, but I don't want to give too much away. I feel like you guys should experience for yourself when it comes to the transfer and stuff like that. I'm just gonna go by what I personally experienced, so you guys can take that with a grain of salt. Everybody's experience is going to be different, but for me, I feel like they could have done it just slightly a little bit better with the release. But I'm still glad that it's finally on Blu-ray. I remember this movie being on DVD and not really easy to come by very often, so to finally see that this movie's getting some love on Blu-ray is definitely a thumbs up for me. Now, there's also, I believe, a German release that you can get overseas. There's, I think, a media book style packaging, and there's there's at least 4 releases of the film, but they all have different covers. Just the same movie, no difference, but other than the cover of the case, which I think is pretty cool. I almost decided to import, but thankfully, Kino was able to announce it, and now here it is, released. I was able to get it off of Amazon for $14, which I think is a really good price. So if you're looking to pick up some Kino titles, definitely keep an eye out and wait until they go down in price, because I feel like you can get more for your buck when you do that. So yeah, wish I could say more, but thank you guys. If you enjoyed the movie, let me know what your thoughts are. Definitely comment down below. And if you enjoyed my review and my thoughts on the film and my thoughts on the transfer, then give it a thumbs up. It's very much appreciated. It keeps me going and it helps my channel in some way. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do so. I do a wide range of videos. I do movie reviews. I do movie hauls. I just do just anything movie related, sometimes wrestling related as well. So if those are things you're into, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you guys would like to take the time out and check out my eBay store, Awesome Things We Love, it would be much appreciated. I have a wide range of items, so I'm going to put the link to that in the description. It helps me out, and it helps for a potential future giveaway, as well as investing into the channel, so that way I can build and improve the channel as we continue on each year. So with that being said, I'm Film Talk with Mikey. You guys know the drill. Till next time, we'll talk films. Have a good one, take care, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.